won't mention name, but he's a 1099er, and we recently went over his style, and he's number one, light years ahead of everybody else. It's disgusting of how a 1099 contractor paramedic can just get so many people and make so much money. I mean, he's pushed past. It's ridiculous when you see kind of the money that some of these people make, as contractors, and then people try and say, well, W-2 would be better because you cover the calls, because that's the biggest problem in the mobile IV world is you get calls in and you can't fill the calls. What do you do about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we work with other companies, trusted companies out there. We worked with Mobile IV Medics for quite a while, and when we couldn't cover those calls, we'd make sure the patient's good with it, and then we'd send them over there, and they would be able to cover them. That's the biggest reason why we keep it friendly with other companies. Like, I have no haters out there that other competitors that want to come after us or anything like that, because we may be the largest, but we're not shooting to be the number one company in the country. I hate when that's posted, and I know we do that as well, but I don't like that. I don't like to be putting my ego out there or our team's ego out there. I just like to perform and do well and cover the patients that do come in as best we can. But we want to cover everybody. But when you're doing W-2, it's just a different world. They're not going to give as good of customer service. Sometimes they will, of course, but if you're doing it yourself and you're trying to build up your own book of business underneath that umbrella, it's just you got more buy-in and you got more customer service because they're working for themselves underneath your umbrella.
Do you think there's a model to do 24/7 mobile IV therapy?
Oh yeah, there are, especially in the places like Vegas and whatnot. You just got to have the right medical director and the backing there, and then the buy-in with the people on the team.
Yeah. So say like 2 a.m. And again, I'm in this field. I know the answer. I would love to just pick your brain on it. When it comes to it. So 2 a.m. you get a hangover call, and you're obviously treating the hangover patient, but that's not really all that we technically do. I would say maybe 5% of your business is hangovers, and 95% is actual sickness. So when you have those, and we have the comments, I see them all the time. Drink a Gatorade, drink water, take Advil. So, and I don't think people really truly understand it, because I literally try and educate as many as possible. Like, when you're throwing up, you can't just drink water. Yep. So it's just, how do you break that in to where I know there's been people, I've had nurses that have applied for, I would only assume me, and they have literally told me, like, this is a fat, this is nothing. I've had doctors come to me and say, you're putting microplastics into their arm. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, when it comes down to it. And I just wanted to get kind of your thoughts on that, if you've ever crossed anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it happened a lot more before COVID, that we'd get a lot of hate online about it, and it's just, you're just going to pee it out, whatever. But, when you have a miscalculation of adult beverages, instead of calling it a hangover, it does dehydrate you. And we're inherently dehydrated as it is. We're 70% water, so we do need fluids, and it's the best way to get it is through an IV. If you're drinking water, if you're drinking Gatorade, yeah, you'll retain some of it, but you will you'll pee it out, and it just won't stay with you. If you have stuff to do, an IV is the best route, of course. If you have like an insane amount of miscalculation of adult beverages, then you're going to be struggling no matter what, but it will bring you back up to where you're like, all right, I'm not going to die in this bed or couch or whatever. But I mean, the IV industry has always been kind of, there's doctors, there are some doctors out there that are against it, but they give you an IV in the hospital anytime you go in there for any type of illness, or if you're hungover or whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. And they charge you an arm and leg, and it's the same thing. So you're rehydrating your body, and you're gonna retain a lot more of that fluid because of the vitamins and nutrients and minerals that we do give. So it's gonna make you feel better. You're gonna bring back your B12 levels, your magnesium levels, everything that you will need in your, not everything, but it's going to bring you back to where you're going to be functioning rather than just an oral intake of fluids.
Got it. Yeah. Going back to our first conversation, because I'm just curious, and I'll go down this rabbit hole because I've always been super curious about this. But going back to the Sonoro thing, in Mexico. 8 people died. It was in April. Puff piece, AZ Central. Um, basically, I would love to, without misquoting it, I'd love to go in and reread it again because it was just the puff piece about it. I know that really stuck out was we're unrelegated. They really just shat over mobile IV therapy, like in general.